everyone, it's Mel here and welcome back to Mel's Blind Life, the YouTube channel all about blindness. So today's video related to orientation, mobility and guide dogs. I am going to discuss the 3 different types of mobility canes and the different uses that they have. Hi, this is Mel Stevens. Welcome back to Mel's Blind Life, the YouTube channel all about blindness. So there are 3 different types of mobility canes, and they are the identification cane, the support cane and the long white cane. So let's get started with the identification cane. So the identification cane, which you just saw a photo of, is a short white cane which does not have a tip on it or a handle or anything. The more modern identification canes do have a small handle, like a piece of rubber that you hold onto it by, and some don't. That particular version doesn't. So the identification cane is usually only around a metre long, sometimes longer, sometimes shorter, depending on the height of the client using it. And the identification cane is carried by a person with low vision, but still functional vision in public. So people who have an identification cane are vision impaired, but they are not vision impaired to the point that they require a mobility aid to pick up feedback like stairs and lifts and obstacles and things like that. They can see obstacles, they can see stairs, they can see to make road crossings and everything like that. The identification cane is purely what the title is a cane used by a blind or vision impaired person to identify themselves as being blind or vision impaired in public. You would hold an identification cane approximately a 45-degree angle across your body, sort of at about stomach height, starting at about stomach height, and you would just hold it out in front of you. Some of the more modern canes do have a tip and a handle on them, but I haven't seen those myself, and I don't have a photo of one of those to show you. So the next cane is a support cane. So a support cane is a cane that is used for 2 purposes. It is used for identification as being blind or having low vision, but it is primarily a cane to help a blind or vision impaired person with their balance. So as you saw in that photograph, a support cane basically looks like a walking stick, but it is white with a red bit down towards the bottom, and it also has a handle similar to that of a walking stick, and it has a tip or ferrule, which is the same as the sort of tips that you would find on a everyday walking stick or on crutches. So these canes are used by people who are blind or have low vision, who might also have balance problems or need extra support because of a stroke or cerebral palsy or something like that. If you use your support cane in your right hand, you can use it in conjunction with your guide dog, or if you use your support cane in your left hand, you can use it in conjunction with a white cane, but you would have to have a consultancy by an orientation and mobility specialist to determine whether you should use your support cane with your guide dog or your long cane. Support cane can also be used by people who have low vision, like the ID cane, to identify them as being vision impaired while also supporting them with their balance. So if you have low vision but it is still functional vision, you can use a support cane rather than an identification cane, and being white, that it identifies you visually to other people that you have low vision, and it also helps with your balance. So the third type of cane, and the most common, is the long white cane. So the third type of cane, and probably the most common and the one that mostly identifies you as being blind or vision impaired, sort of the more generally accepted one, is the long white cane. And this cane is used by people who have extremely low vision or no vision as their primary mobility aid rather than a guide dog. So the long white cane, as you saw by that photo, has a handle. It is white all the way down apart from the last 4 or 5 inches, and it has a tip on the end which rolls along the ground to pick up any feedback for the client off the ground, be it surface changes, steps, different tactiles. All of that kind of thing is picked up by the cane. Also obstacles, poles, rubbish bins, everything. So the long white cane, as I said, is the most sort of commonly seen and spoken about cane. It is used, as I said, by someone who has very low or no vision as a primary mobility aid to detect obstacles and surface changes and things like that. So the long cane is given to you by an orientation mobility specialist, and it can take up to 20 or more hours to learn how to use the long cane effectively and safely. If you have a long cane, then you are obviously being identified as being blind or vision impaired because it is white and it is helping you with your independent mobility. Long canes do come in different colours. I myself have a hot pink one, which is actually the photo for the thumbnail of this video is my hot pink cane. I have seen orange ones, I've seen green ones, I've even seen black ones. But the white ones are the most commonly accepted ones, and they're the most commonly found ones. You can get all different lengths and everything. Generally, the client's cane is measured to come just up to here, just up to the sternum, which is a measurement that the orientation and mobility instructor will do. So how do you know that you need one of these 3 canes, and how do you acquire one? So if you are blind or have low vision or are going to go blind or are diagnosed with a low vision issue, then you will be referred either by your doctor or by your family and friends or whomever to a organisation in your area that deals with orientation and mobility. So the organisation that I go through, Guide Dogs Victoria, I have been a client of since I was very, very young and diagnosed with my condition not very long after I was born, and I have been getting help from them ever since. So what will happen is you will get referred to the orientation and mobility specialist, who will then come out and do an assessment of your functional vision, your scanning, your independent mobility and everything like that. And then they determine what kind of mobility aid you may or may not require, and they will measure you with that mobility aid. If it's a long cane, they will measure up to, as I said, your sternum for how long your cane needs to be. They will also recommend the appropriate kind of tip for your long cane. There are heaps and heaps of different tips that have slightly different ways of giving you feedback from what they are feeling underneath them. So the orientation and mobility specialist will recommend the best kind of tip for you and the best length of cane for you and the best type of cane for you, and then you will undergo training how to use that long cane or that identification cane or that support cane. You will probably, depending on your area, you may end up going into a residential situation at your orientation and mobility school. So say for example with my school, Guide Dogs Victoria, they do very often bring in people into their residence, Arnold Cook House, for especially long cane training. For the initial training, your instructor might bring you into the residence, or your instructor will come out to your home. It just depends on the situation that you and your organisation are in at the time. And then you will have many hours, especially for a long cane, white cane, you will have many hours set aside to spend with your orientation and mobility instructor for them to help you to learn how to use your cane and to be safe and independent with it. Here in Australia, we have a thing called the National Disability Insurance Scheme, which I'll link down below. And the NDIS, I think generally they recommend 20 hours for long cane training, and they put that in your plan. So it will really depend on what your orientation and mobility instructor recommends you do. So that is a little bit on the three different the three different mobility canes and what they are used for. If you want me to do a video showing you how you use these, especially the long cane, I will do that in the future. I just need to have a camera person to do that with me, but I will in the future be doing a video on how to use a long cane. So stay tuned for that, and hope you have enjoyed this video and learned something, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.